Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. This is another interview episode. This is my oldest son, Jackson. We already did the interview with Dylan. If you hadn't seen that, it's pretty fun. It's these are my kids, and interviewing them simply because they have grown up in a household with magic.
Yeah.
I started playing. Let's see, you were born at the tail end of '93.
Mm-hmm.
And I started playing in '94.
Yeah.
Do you have any memories at all where I wasn't a Magic player?
No. I do remember you expressing it was like the proud father feeling. I think I was like 6 or 7, and instead of a Pokemon cake,
8. You were 8. I remember this.
I was 8.
You were 8.
Okay.
I remember.
Instead of asking for like a Pikachu cake, I asked for I want Force of Nature on a cake.
I was because every year you get the kid whatever kind of birthday cake they want for their birthday, and it was Pokemon every single year, and then so it come real close to your birthday, and I was like, okay, Jack, what kind of cake you want? Because whatever Pokemon it was, it kind of varied.
Yeah.
Most time it was Pika, and I want Force of Nature. Do you know? Not just okay. Back then, I know Force of Nature has been eclipsed as a card a bunch of times, and there's a bunch of cards that are strictly better.
Yeah.
But that original art, I think it's Douglas Schuler. You collect.
Yeah, I collect Force of Nature. Specifically, I've got like some of like.
You got all the arts. Maybe not all the printings, but I know you got all the arts because I've made sure you got all the arts.
Yeah, I've got some of what was it like the ninth? It was the 9th edition, or when did they reprint it? And they had it as like the tree.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
yeah, I got some of that, but the original one is like my favorite. That art is
that monkey is just when somebody says Force of Nature, that's the art that pops in my mind.
Yeah,
and we put Force of Nature because they got those little printing things where they can print on icing and they scan it, and had Force of Nature, and that's when you kind of started to play Magic. That would have been what 93 and 8. So what was that? 01?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he started playing Magic right after like Combo Winter. Not that I would do that to my kids and all, but that was before EDH came about.
Yeah.
I remember while we were living there, Apocalypse was the big thing. Apocalypse was the big set then, and man, I flipped so many boxes of Apocalypse.
I can't really remember the set, but I specifically remember like whenever we first started playing, it was you made decks for me and Death so we could play together. Hers was was white. It was a white deck. I can't really remember much about it except it had Sarah Angel. Because that was Mom's favorite card and that was Dessa's favorite card. And then I wanted green, so I had what was it, Cave Troll and Force of Nature and Lone Wolf and what was that? Was it just called Nox?
Oh, Rocks.
Rocks. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Jackson was the one, and this is proof that you can learn. As a Magic player, I've learned quite a bit from players I've taught or players that haven't been playing that long, because Jackson was the first one. He come to me, and because of Rocks and Lone Wolf and the Thorn Elemental.
Elemental. That art is so cool. I love Thorn.
Yeah. He, the term that y'all heard me use, I got from him.
Wait, which term?
Super Trample.
Yeah! Super Trample.
It's been a while since you played, but you grew up in a house full of Magic.
Well, I mean, it's been a while since I played, but I'm subscribed to like 7 different Magic subreddits. Right. So
you keep up,
yeah.
And he says, "Dad, I want to build an all Super Trample deck," and that was years ago that you did that.
Yeah,
I have built. Don't get me wrong. I don't know which one
it could be,
but there's not enough for like an actual commander deck because I think there's like 10 cards or less than 10 cards that what we're calling super trample is the ability that creatures have. You may assign
damage even though it was blocked.
It was blocked, so you
So
can
you can kind of like jump over
yeah.
the creature to still do the damage to the player.
Now the blocker still does damage to like the Thorn Elemental, but the Thorn
Yeah.
Elemental can go, I don't care, I'm smacking 7 to the. And
Yeah.
I really thought that ability would like
Take off.
grow in popularity once we got Planeswalkers, because there's something about Planeswalkers in EDH that they just don't live a long time.
They really don't.
Mainly because you've got a whole table full of people and they're like, well that Teferi or that Jace can't.
Yeah.
You know, so, but if you've got blockers, you can protect your Planeswalkers. So that's why I thought oh, wait. Maybe that's the reason why they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, because
maybe Wizards is kind of protecting the Planeswalkers by eliminating that ability, because I don't know. I know we've gotten reprints of some of those in like ancillary products, but I don't think we've gotten any new cards since Planeswalkers have existed with Super Tramp.
Yeah. It would. I mean, it would be a little overpowered. Just, I mean, you could go straight through. I mean, like just from a lore perspective, it wouldn't make sense to have the creature go through the Planeswalker.
Or, yeah, I'm going to go around your blocker and smack you, and then I'll just take whatever damage you block. Mental note, that's a strategy thing. If you've got green in your deck, hold on, let's see if we can name them. Because they scaled all the way up. The 2/2 was Lone Wolf.
Yeah, Lone Wolf.
That was 3 mana. I know Rocks was 6 mana. It's a 5/5 regenerator.
Yeah.
The 7 mana is
Wasn't that
Thorn Elemental.
Thorn Elemental.
Pride of Lions sits at 5.
I never had Pride of Lions.
It's like a weird.
Wait, never mind. I did have Pride of Lions. It's just
a 5-drop.
Yeah, I specifically remember the art now.
It seems like there's a 4-drop that I can't remember. And there's, check this out. Somewhere way back there, probably 10, 12 years ago, they made a, is it Blood Scent? It's an instant that grants that ability to all your creatures that turn.
What?
Yes. It's just 1 turn. It's like a 4 or 5 mana instant. So, I mean, you got to hold up quite a bit. But if you've got like in EDH, it's not uncommon to have, 50 Saprolings or whatever. Yeah. I think we'll just, I think
tokens.
I want to say it's Blood Scent.
Even though, like, strategy-wise, sometimes tokens aren't, like, the most sound. I love tokens.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Tokens are the only way I ever beat your stasis deck.
Brutaclad.
Brutaclad?
Is a new from a couple years ago. Maybe new to you.
Yeah.
It's a red-blue legend that interacts with tokens in a very, very unique way.
What does it do?
Oh gosh, help me out. I've built the deck. I've only played it once. Brutaclad, because it sounds, Norse. Is an artifact creature, and I want to say he creates some kind of token. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. And then at a certain point, I'm not sure if it's an upkeep or combat trigger, at a certain point during your turn, all your tokens become a copy of a target token.
Oh!
So...
God. The only thing that popped into my head was Merit Lage.
It's legendary, damn it.
Oh, okay. We're safe.
There's an Eldrazi that comes into play, and when it comes into play, it makes a 10/10 token.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's what I built the deck around.
God,
because I wanted to turn like all the treasure tokens and the gold tokens. I wanted to make them into Eldrazi.
Yeah, that's like not whenever it wasn't standard. Back when at the time Eldrazi was standard, but we didn't always play standard. The only deck that I had that could actually stand up to any Eldrazi deck was Treefolk, mainly because they're beefy and Doran.
Man.
That was a long time ago.
That was Lorwyn block. That's when
I was like a freshman.
Let's see. That was right before I opened the shop, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We're pointing over there because
all the binders.
All the binders are in set order. So there's like I'm going to guess 30 binders after Lorwyn. Because
Yeah.
I think I want to say around Zendikar was when I opened the shop. So all those Lorwyn block cards were still out. Everybody was still playing with them. Tribal Fever had gripped EDH. The few of us that played around then.
Yeah.
Well, I say the few of us that
Well, I mean,
at our shop.
There was a lot.
Well, at my shop, you hang a sign up that says Canada's Collectible Games, and everybody kind of knows it's a magic shop. And
Everybody around here knows you, and people 2 states over. Because I remember you telling me that story. You were what was it? You were at Goose's, and people had come from 2 states over to play Magic with you.
we had there every Friday night. We had a carload that would drive up from Mississippi. I mean, it was that was a lot different time than now.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I know you don't hang out at as many game shops as I do, but nowadays there's a different. I don't want to say atmosphere, but game shops are not as popular as they were back then because we have got we've always had digital Magic in the form of Magic Online, but now we've got Arena, which is technically free to play.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty sweet looking program, but it's I don't know. It seems to be harder to get asses in seats.
Yeah.
I mean, the pre-releases don't bring out the folks that they used to, and the pre-releases is pretty much the big thing for local game stores. Those are big events that gets people in the door.
Yeah.
But Friday Night Magics from a lot of places that I've heard of just aren't firing or fire with just minimum 8.
It kind of sucks now.
Well, that's one of the focuses that I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Is to bring back the gathering part of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
And that's why I love Commander so much. And I mean, I've got a Magic Online account that I haven't opened in years.
I remember when they first came out.
Yeah.
You were pretty big on it.
Well, when it first came out, we didn't have a local game store. So I had to get my Magic fix by playing Magic Online. But that's one of the things I'm trying to do is to just engage the community apart. And evidently, Wizards, you haven't heard.
Well,
next year is we're going to call it the year of Commander. Normally, Commander gets one release, those decks, August, September, somewhere thereabouts.
Yeah.
Next year, we're getting all of them.
Wait, what do you mean?
Every not the standard legal set that hits in February, but after that, every standard legal set that comes out, minus the core set, will have Commander decks attached to them, replacing those Planeswalker decks that nobody but me bought.
I mean, you got some of them somewhere. Okay, no.
The reason why I got the Planeswalker decks is because there's a few cards in them.
Yeah, there's always a few cards in them that you can't get a hold of in the regular sets.
Now, they're terrible, and nobody's ever going to play them. I do it for themed, like I had to have the Jace one for the Jace deck, and the Chandra one for the Chandra deck, stuff like that. But and then we're getting, like the spell books. I've got the Jace one. How there's 8 Jace cards or 8 Gideon cards.
Yeah.
There's a Commander collection. The first one they're doing is green. Commander Collection green. It's a box set of 8 cards that are Commander staples with all new art. It's going to come out.
What do they consider to be Commander staples for green?
I don't like that term.
Yeah.
But popular, let's just say popular green cards. And I'm telling you right now, if there's not a doubling season in it.
Doubling season needs to be in it.
I don't know what the price point is going to be on this because they don't do MSRP anymore.
Yeah.
Not that it really mattered when they did it because people just charged what they wanted to anyway. So I guess it was just one step Wizards ain't got to do. But because of that, we don't have a guideline. Now, I say we don't have a guideline. There's no MSRP. On Magic Online, they still have, like, even though there's not an MSRP, what Wizards is selling it to the public on Magic Online, that's kind of the MSRP. I mean, that's what we all kind of take it off of. But
Yeah.
I rely on secondhand information for that because I'm pretty sure I couldn't remember my password to log on to Magic Online. But, and then we're getting Commander Legends.
They're bringing back.
No, it's a standalone set.
Oh.
It is a booster pack product for Commander.
Huh.
No, it gets better. These are 20 card packs.
20. That aren't the usual like 15?
Meant to be drafted.
Oh. Ooh. Wait, draft commander?
Yes. Now you're with the rest of us.
That's a long time. I mean, don't get me wrong. That sounds really fun. And that is a long time at the table.
And there are 70 new legends, according to Gavin Berry. Now, automatically, all right, so when that went live, I got a lot of messages on like Twitter and through the channel here.
Yeah, that's going to be 70 more decks.
But I don't think it is. I really don't. Because
some of them may be like sorcery
or legendary things.
Yeah, legendary.
Or planeswalkers are now planeswalker. The planeswalker rule doesn't exist anymore.
What do you mean?
The planeswalker rule that said like if you've got a Jace the Mind Sculptor
and a Jace Bellerin out
right, one of them goes.
Yeah.
Now they are legendary planeswalkers. All planeswalkers, they even retcon the old ones to where planeswalkers are legendary and they adhere to the legendary rule. So you can have 5 different Jaces in play.
Just as long as they're not the same.
Right.
That would be really cool.
So now there are 5, 10, 12 planeswalkers that exist that have that line of text at the bottom, this may be your commander. I'm hoping we don't get any more of those.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, planeswalkers as commanders, it's a hot button topic in the community. A lot of people want it, a lot of people don't. But quite frankly,
I mean, imagine
they die so quick.
Yeah, because one, they do die very quick. So imagine, because I remember in like long games alone, I remember this one really long EDH game we had in here. You were using a Memnarch deck, and it got to the point. There was like 8 of us. It got to the point where he was paying like 27 mana. I don't even know how he comes up with 27 mana to put out Memnarch. But imagine how bad that would be if your commander was a planeswalker, because they die very easily.
Well, I'll explain how I built that deck.
Oh.
It was the most degenerate. It's not the current Memnarch deck that's up on the channel.
I think
my very first incarnation of the Memnarch deck was Memnarch and Mana Rocks.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how I was able. I had every Mana Rock legal in the format, and that's all I did. My whole game plan was
he took over stuff.
Mr. Steal Your Girl. I mean, I was like, I'm just gonna take it. That's what I do. I power out Memnarch, and then I had like the High Tide. I would put on the Isochron Scepter so I could use it every turn, and just yeah, it was. But that's one of those decks that I hear. Perception is everything. I played that deck. I had it together for a long time.
Yeah.
And got a pretty stable play group together, and it was not a popular deck amongst the play group.
It really wasn't.
So what I did was I ripped the deck completely apart and made it tribal mirror, because I really wanted a mirror tribe.
Yeah.
But there's no legendary mirror. So
Memnarch created them, though.
There you go. That was my logic. So I was like, tribal mirror. And so I had all the mirror shenanigans, with the mirror things.
To be fair,
a lot of the mirror tap for mana.
It's not much different.
So everybody accused me of still having that Memnarch deck. And so for years I was like, no, it's tribal mirror, it's tribal mirror. And I was like, no, it's Memnarch. And it would suddenly I reveal Memnarch. Well, look, now it's arch enemy. It's all everybody versus it. I would die. And so finally,
the games would get really bad.
I was like, screw it. If I'm guilty of having that Memnarch deck, I'm going to have that Memnarch deck. So I rebuilt it. It's nowhere near as bad as it was. But it's still pretty bad. And it's one of the decks. Do you know certain, I go and play EDH every Friday and Saturday when I can.
When you have off.
But the playgroup has instituted a timeout policy for some of my decks. Memnarch's on it, but I didn't think to actually. I wrote a post-it note on Atraxa.
Is that what the post-it notes are?
Well, actually no.
You can't see them.
There's like one post-it
a lot
note
of them over here.
What it is, there's a line there and a line there. Okay.
Yeah.
I found a new deck building website called Architect. Now, in the early days, when I first started the channel, I didn't deck list at all.
Yeah.
Online, I just built the deck and I filmed it for y'all. But I had so many requests for deck list, and I was like, man, this is gonna take a bunch of time. And so I don't remember where I started deck listing. I want to say somewhere in the 200 block here.
Yeah, and I remember because it was.
I had found different sites like Tapped Out. Well, I started doing a few. I don't want to call them articles for EDH Rec because it's the community spotlight where I do an article with a listing of. It started off as 10 decks at a time.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of on themes. Like I just did all 19 Eldraine decks.
Yeah.
At once. So, and I switched from site to site because I couldn't really find. But once Architect came into being, Architect partnered with EDH Rec, and they've got all the features that I've ever wanted. They have a collection management system on there to once you built the deck.
Yeah.
You can click Add to Collection, and it'll track all that stuff.
Yeah.
And now,
really useful.
Like when Paradox Engine got banned, I was like, oh crap. I've got Paradox Engines in decks, so I was able to search my decks for Paradox Engine. Funny thing, the banning before Ion and Paradox Engine, I can't remember what card got banned. This is how awesome customer service Architect is. I had listed about 80 or 90 decks at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I went on Twitter and I said, oh man, I know I've got this card in a deck. How do I added Architect. I was like, how do I find which deck it is? And they replied within an hour. They replied telling me how to do it and then said, oh, by the way, it's in this deck of yours. What? I was like, okay. So anyways, what the lines are is that was where I probably need to move. Oh, y'all can see the Tribal Jack's head.
Yeah.
The orange line there, that's where I found Architect. And from that point on, I have every deck I have done, I've listed on Architect.
Okay.
And then over here, I started at deck number 1 in my spare time. And I've been listing all of these decks. And the object is, eventually, I will get them all.
Yeah, close them in.
Now, some of these who have, like spotty ones, those are decks I have either rebuilt or revisited. And while I've got them out, I've listed them.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and tagged them.
Yeah. Okay.
Mimeoplasm, Lyrodon Bringer, Sliver Overlord, because we got more slivers with Modern Horizons, and then Virago.
God, more slivers.
Yeah, more slivers. But Modern Horizons also give us some snow stuff. Which, by the way, we're going back to Theros in January, February.
Cool. Because I kind of missed the boat on that one.
The underworld is leaking.
Huh?
Things have, there are cards, creatures, planeswalkers, and they say equipment. Things have, some cards have an escape mechanic.
Yeah.
Where they escape the underworld.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody needs to talk to Erebos about that. But anyway, Wizard of the Coast has 2 or 3 videos up on here on YouTube, and they explain the mechanics. Like they explain enchantments are back. They explain that they do ones that are short, all less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of each one, they show the Theros Beyond Death thing, and I swear to you, it looks like snow. It looks like snow is falling, and that gets my hopes up. Is it snowing on Theros? I don't think so. I want to say it's probably the Nyx ethereal. There's the underworld.
Yeah.
There's Theros, and then there's Nyx. It's kind of their. I don't know if it's afterlife thing or whatever. It's like where the gods live and shit.
Yeah.
We're getting demigods. Daxos is a demigod now.
The shortened concept of Underworld is leaking would actually be really cool, considering the theme for Theros. Because like whenever I heard it was coming out, I'll be honest, I wanted to buy a box, but I didn't have the time, and I'm always working.
Well,
I wanted to do this. I wanted to do the same with Eldraine because I really like that theme.
The storybook.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I buy boxes of like every set or whatever decks, and I'll always do openings. If you want to come, just have the experience of busting a box.
Oh yes, we haven't busted a box since what? We haven't busted a box since what? World Wake, maybe.
Tell the World Wake story.
Okay. So, December 24th, 2010.
Man, he's got the date.
I remember because we were closing up the shop for Christmas. It was Christmas Eve. I was hoping to close up the shop. 2010. I was a sophomore in high school, and we were doing just various cleaning up stuff. And neither one of us had the new Jace.
Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yes, and to kind of just celebrate Christmas Eve as we were closing up. We both got 3 packs of World Wake, and first pack, not Jace. Second pack, now you got some good cards, not Jace. And then last pack, I'm like, all right, watch me open a Jace the Mind Sculptor. And I open it. I'm like, holy!
And he opens a Jace the Mind
Sculptor. Yeah, this, and God, how much was Jace at the time? Wasn't he like 60 at the time?
That card has fluctuated so much.
I can imagine.
It has climbed. It has climbed and plummeted and climbed and plummeted. Now, I'm going to continue the Jace story. Deck number 400, y'all know as the Jace deck. Jace Friend's Prodigy is the commander. And I've been working on that deck since Baby Jace was born.
Yeah.
I refer to him as Baby Jace. It's his middle name. It's my grandson. His sister's son.
Yeah.
And I started working on it when they named the kid after Jace Beleriand, right? So I'm like, okay. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. I'm like, I want all the Jace Planeswalkers. I want all of the cards that refer to Jace.
Yeah.
Jace's Phantasm or whatever. And then fill in with the cards that he's in the art of, or maybe that he does the flavor text of. Didn't know how I was going to do the lands until Ixalan released.
Wouldn't Blank, didn't he have flavor text on Blank? Like, I think it may have been Unsummoned or something along those lines.
Now,
it was something that brought a creature back to your hand, and I specifically remember it was like the flavor text was, "I'm sorry, but I would prefer it if you weren't."
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's really cool.
Jace versus Chandra had a lot of those normal like core cards with their art and their flavor text. Like there's a counterspell.
Yeah,
they hadn't printed counterspell in so long, but they made counterspell with Jace on it. So,
got a lot easier whenever they had the set dedicated to Jace losing his memory, and he's
he was on every basic land.
Yeah.
So I'm building this deck, and I don't have a Jace the Mind Sculptor. because it is super expensive, and I try my best when building these decks to operate off of what I have, because
you could burn through a lot of money trying to get.
even if I only spend like $5 or $10 per deck,
Yeah, that's
bam.
that's
Yeah.
$5 or $10 would be like $4,000 by now.
But so I try to use what I've got or what I open, new stuff. I've got a lot of these decks I've started with. Excuse me. That the new Theros set is going to help.
Yeah.
Or, just use what I've got, what I can trade, what I can buy bulk, whatever. But there are decks like deck number 500. Spend a little money on that one. That's an expensive damn deck. Because the commander's a couple hundred,
What did you choose for 500?
Angus McKenzie.
Angus McKenzie.
He is from Legends. He's a walking fog. You spend 3 mana.
Yeah. I remember.
But I built him as the so not me. It's so not what I normally do. It was the most miserable experience you can have playing Magic.
What?
That's what I used. That was the criteria I used for every single card.
Why?
I'm not going to tell you the real story, but I'll tell you the cover story. Because it's the 500th deck, and it was something I haven't done before. Are you buying any of this?
No.
Yeah, okay. Anyway. But back to number 400.
Yeah.
So, Jace the Mind Sculptor. Jace the Mind Sculptor had just got unbanned in Modern. Now, when they created Modern, they started it with a banned list.
Yeah.
And Jace was on it. And over time, they were like, you know what? We don't think it's that bad, so they unbanned Jace. And the price skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And then not too long after that, Father's Day, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Father's Day is so close to my birthday. My
Yeah.
memory switches it around sometimes.
Those are very close.
We're going to say Father's Day. And Jackson comes up and he says, Dad, I got your Father's Day gift. I was like, typical dad stuff. You didn't have to, whatever. And I open it up and it's a flipping foil Jace the Mind Sculptor, and I lose my shit. And that was kind of.
I remember. I specifically. God, I can't even remember where I went to get it. I know how much I paid for it.
I don't want to know.
I'm not going to tell you.
But that was probably 90% of the deck's value, and I was like, because I can't build a Jace themed deck without the Jace, So, that was the shop that I had here. It was the perfect storm. It really was. Because the shop was right across the street from the high school.
Yeah.
I went to high school.
And we picked up a lot of business from people coming over and learning to play.
Just, because it's the first place you can buy chips or soda after school or candy bar or whatever. And I sold a ton of just concessions like that.
I can't even count how much Yoo-Hoo I drank while that shop was open.
But there were so many people that came in there just for that. And then and they noticed these people sitting around a table just having a blast playing this game. Remember the chess set?
Yeah.
I kept a chess set up at all times. The king was 36 inches tall. It was a giant chess set.
It was so big. And then we ended up having to play it on one of the Warhammer tables.
Yeah. Special built for it. And that right there, that helped. Because on this side of town, there's nothing. There still is nothing. I closed the shop up after 2 years. I signed a 2-year lease. And after that, that puts y'all at y'all's senior year. And I was like, well, you know what? I've got 1 year left. I've got 1 year left with the oldest 2 kids. And I don't want to. I still had my grocery store daytime job that I worked 50 hours a week at, and then I would leave there and go to the shop, and I wouldn't get home till 8, 9 o'clock, and I wouldn't on the weekends.
Yeah.
God forbid if it was a pre-release weekend. I'd sleep on the couch in the back of the shop because you don't only have a couple hours for the next pre-release.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was a blast, but it sucked up a lot of time. And I really wanted to focus that time on family because I knew I didn't have y'all for much longer. And then the little two, which are not little anymore.
No, they're not. God.
Coda's
in the military now.
Yes,
that's wild.
17 to 16, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get Coda in Odessa. I didn't do them at some point in time. But they were in Cub Scouts at the time. And Cub Scout Dad, that occupies some time there, too.
Yeah, it did.
But your personal history with Magic, so anything I realize we just randomly talk, but that's kind of what I do. I don't script. I don't edit.
I don't know if you've told the stories, but I would like to tell the Future Sight pre-release story and the Magic World story.
Go for it.
Okay.
I don't remember if I have it. I know I haven't told the Future Sight story.
Okay. So the pre-release for Future Sight, we drove. It was you, me, and what was his name? Michael.
I think so. Now, this was back, as y'all remember, Future Sight was the last big pre-release before every LGS could have them. So you had like one per region. This was when it was in Nashville, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in Nashville.
So there was like 400 or 500 people there.
Yeah. And the trip is split up into two different parts. They had a bunch of flight tournaments that, honestly, it almost feels like we cheated the system a little because we would sign up for flight tournaments, build terrible decks, no lands, all creatures, and we would forfeit first round just to get a hold of that Corlash.
Oh, the Corlash was amazing. I was so in love with that Corlash.
And we ended up nabbing like 10 by the end of the day. How many?
I left for 27.
Oh my god! Yeah, we had 27 of those Corlashes, and that occupied a good chunk of it. And the other time was the other part of it was an embarrassing story for me because
you were young.
I was like 11 or 12.
And this was the first major event you played in.
Yeah, so. It was the first major event I had ever played in. We were doing a draft for Future Sight, and I played green, but somehow I'd gotten some time spiral cards from
the main event.
The main event, and I didn't set them aside. And somehow 12-year-old me doesn't think about it, but an Ashcoat Bears makes its way into my deck. And then I'm playing against this guy, and he's mad because I'm beating his face in with Ashcoat Bears, a little 2/2 because he was getting mana screwed. And then part of the way through it, he's like, "Wait a minute, Judge!" And then I got disqualified, and I cried because I was a kid and I didn't know what I did wrong, and I didn't know how it got in the deck. I was just putting cards I liked in it.
Here's what happened from my perspective.
Okay.
A lot of this you may not know. He used the same deck box for the draft deck that he had for the main event, and that's how that happened. And kudos to the honesty, though, because if I want to believe I would have. We want to believe the best in ourselves, you know. But if I'd have drawn that Ashcoat Bear, and to most players, if they'd have drawn a card that was accidentally in their deck, they probably just wouldn't play it.
Yeah.
But all those cards were new to you.
Yeah, because all of them were new.
We were playing revised, you know.
Yeah, because before that, my experience with Magic wasn't current. It was all. It was a lot of the older sets we had. So that was the first time it was.
So the judge came over, and he. I was actually playing at the right beside.
Yeah, he was right next to me.
And I said, "You know what? I'm not going to interfere with this. I'm just going to let it happen and see what happens. This is a learning experience." Because I knew as soon as you said Ashcoat Bears, I went.
Like the Captain Picard just
yeah. And so I was like, let it happen. I'm not going to try to. So the judge came over, and this was a judge, okay? The black and white striped shirt, the official looking tournament judge.
He looked terrifying. He towered over me.
And I think that scared you. And he asked, and you just shut down. You were like...
I shut down, and then when set aside, I burst into tears.
You got the game loss, and then he's like, look, can you tell me what happened? Because I'm looking for some kind of explanation so that I know what to do from here on. And Jack wouldn't say a word, so he's like, well, I have to assume the worst, DQ, whatever. So I'd lost that round because it was a draft. I wasn't about winning. It was about getting to the next draft. Because back then you got pre-release promos for even the drafts that you played.
Despite, like as a kid, that being a terrifying experience for me, that's kind of how I fell in love with draft.
And then you went to sit down back while I finished up my game. Do you know the guy that came down, and just the regular casual guy that just came down and sat down and talked to you? That was another judge, because the head judge had talked with the others, and he was like, I think I'm intimidating him, but I'd really like to know what happened. So this other plainclothes judge that was younger, he came over, he presented himself as a player.
Yeah.
And he's just like, hey man, what's up? I saw what happened. And,
I don't even remember this.
And you just told him the whole story. I don't know how it happened. It just got mixed up. I didn't think about it. And that's why it never went any further than that. So, yeah. And then he pulls me aside because he knows it doesn't take a genius to figure out we're signed up for the same drafts. We both have the same last name. So,
yeah.
And that's what, yeah.
Yeah. And my other like big Magic player experience was Magic Worlds. Because this was the only time considering it's in a different spot on the planet every time, this was the only time we figured we would probably ever get to go to it. It was in Memphis. And
close the shop down for that.
Yeah, we did.
Sign on the door, called the World.
There was like 7 of us in that van, wasn't there? And then we ran into some people that we played with there. And besides like the $6 Cokes.
Bring it cool. We actually tailgated.
Yeah,
if you remember.
I remember we had this big crew because you were driving Old Blue, which was this. It was this really worn down, like it was a Dodge.
Yeah, Dodge van.
Yeah,
made of dark steel because it was indestructible.
It was indestructible until it exploded while you were driving it. But I mean, that was years after we thought it was going to break down.
Yeah.
So
I'm in. We're walking around Worlds, and of course there's the World fenced off for the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, there's all the big name shops, and then there's this. I forget what they named it, where you could play against different Magic celebrities.
Like Meet the Champions or something like that.
And I see Mark Rosewater. And I just post up in the line, I'm going to play Mark Rosewater.
That long was really, really long.
So, and we all kind of gathered right there, and we were waiting. Well, a guy that rode with us, Corey, he come over, he said, what are y'all waiting in line for? I'm like, we're waiting in line to play Mark Rosewater. And he goes, oh, cool. I'm going to be over here in the Richard Garfield line.
And
what?
Okay, so funny story about this. At the time, most of us didn't have decks on us, so we used Dad's decks. And of our group there, everybody beat Richard Garfield, except Dad.
Keep in mind, I had taught everybody with me how to play.
But there's a good reason, though.
Well, yes. I decided this is my once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to play Richard Garfield. I'm going to bring the best I've got.
Yeah.
And so on turn 1...
Which was a deck we also called Old Blue.
Turn 1 was an Underground Sea, a Mox Sapphire, a Mana Vault, and a Black Vice. And he looks at it and he says...
I thought it was wasn't there a candelabra?
My babies.
Yeah. And that's when it clicked. Like, I could see us when it clicked. He's like, oh, no.
He designed every one of these cards. The the more recent cards, Richard didn't design. He had already handed over the company. But the
Yeah.
first couple sets, he had designed all those cards. I mean, he knew the ins and outs, and the deck he was playing was super weird anyway.
Although it was really cool because it was like mainly like blue, I think. It was based on. I couldn't tell you like what quite creatures it was based around. He had some merfolk, but the interesting thing about it was he had these magic back cards where they were white on one side, and he would create the card and put it into his decks between games. Yeah. Okay, so now whenever I played him, I played elves. Specifically, I played Rafello's Staff of Domination. That was my combo. All I needed was 5 lands, and I went infinite. Well, I mean, technically you can't go infinite now, but that's how I won, and I got him to specifically sign Dad's Rafello's.
I'm gonna try to get this as close as possible.
Oh wow, that's actually really good. It's a really good camera.
And since he signed it and he put "I beat Richard" on it, we are all translating that as game text. So anytime I draw the card, which it's Band and Commander, but anytime I draw the card, I'm like, "What's your name, Richard?"
Forgot. But the thing is, like, they were magic backs, but white, and he would draw on them. And the point of the deck was to like shuffle junk cards, shuffle cards from your deck into his, and cards from his deck into yours. And he would put like junk cards in your deck, where if you drew it, it would just take up space in your hand,
and you couldn't discard it.
Yeah, you couldn't discard it, and it didn't have a mana cost, so you couldn't play it. It was just a way to fill up your hand. It was really unique. But for me, the most memorable part about it was like he had his daughter next to him, and she would do the art for the cards, and then whenever she was done, she would just give them back to him, and that was really cool.
Yeah, it was definitely. And he is. If you've ever seen Richard on any kind of video or whatever, he doesn't do a lot of that, but he was a super cool guy.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
just
he was really chill.
He is how he is all the time. I'm that way.
Yeah,
I don't really have a persona that I do. I'm just me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of the same way. Well, I mean, when I'm at work, I'm like, work.
Right. Yeah. We've all got the work mode. But even when I'm in the work mode, I'm kind of this. I just layer all company policy on top of it. Well, I can't think of anything else.
Okay, no.
It's I always say gamers raising gamers, and that's exactly. I mean, it may not be like the younger two.
The younger two are more clickers.
Right.
Well, I mean, I'm also a heavy clicker, but it's also because there's not really a place to do chucking or flopping anymore. Which, in case you don't know what that means, clickers are video games, chuckers, dice rolling, D&D, stuff like that, and then floppers is cards, Magic.
And then there's those of us that are all the above.
Yeah.
Now I say all the above. Today when you came in, I was playing video games.
Yeah.
Playing Shimu. One of the greatest games ever.
Dad loves Shimu 1 and 2, and it came out on... It came out. There was like a sale, and it was like $20 on the Xbox store. And I'm like, because I noticed it one day because I was buying Divinity 2 to play with some buddies of mine, and then I noticed it. I'm like, I have to buy this for him, and I bought it for him, and I forgot about it. And then the Thanksmas event rolls around, and I'm like, Dad, you need to check your messages. Check a message from Xbox.
And I'm like, how do I do that? I've never checked a message. Like all the messages people have ever sent me in the entire time I've had that gamer tag, we're still there.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't. How do I do this?
I navigated him to it. And it's like, click this code to download Shimmy 1 and 2, and his eyes lit up. Because what were we saying earlier? Like the 3 big games that you.
I love Dreamcast. It was probably now as far as consoles go, and I know we're getting off topic, but that's fine. I played. My video game experience starts when the family got an Atari 2600.
Yeah, I remember
My
that.
mother was the Miss Pac-Man queen.
Yeah.
I saw her on arcade versions. She could play until she felt like stopping on one quarter. She could play. I was just a tiny, tiny kid. But we got the Atari 2600 when it hit. And, of course, we had Miss Pac-Man, Combat, Pac-Man, Pitfall.
Donkey Kong.
All the regular stuff. Played it for a while. My uncle had a 5200.
They can't wait. There was another one besides the 2600.
Atari 5200.
Okay.
And that's where Super Breakout, kind of a Super Pong or whatever, Frogger, played some of that on there. And that's kind of, we still had the 2600, and that's kind of where we were at until 89. Christmas of 89, I got a Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah,
I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah, it was. Wasn't it specifically was it the NES or was it the Super Nintendo?
No. It was the first one.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't remember that one.
It came with Super Mario World and Duck Hunt.
Super Mario World was Super Nintendo. Super Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Whichever. Because 1 1 1 2 4 1 2 to 4 1 then 4 2 to 8 1.
Yeah.
Those are the ones. Anyway, so did that and then had the original Nintendo for years and years and years. Got married, had kids, moved out of state. And
Super Nintendo.
Then I bought the Super Nintendo.
We only had 2 games, but those 2 games defined my childhood.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat
is the only one Mario game.
Super Mario World.
Yeah, and then had that until y'all were probably in middle school when.
No, the elementary school.
Elementary. I went over to a buddy's house. Oh my God, we're in that house.
Yeah, it was still his house at the time.
I bought this house from my buddy 16 years ago, and I knew quite a bit about the house before then because I'd been over to help him pour the patio, stump trees. We played Magic, we played video games, whatever. So
did we have the N64 at the time, or was that after?
Destiny won the N64
in a contest, and she didn't even want it.
There was a coloring contest. Destiny won a N64. We played the heck out of the Mario game.
Yeah, Mario Kart, specifically.
Yeah, Mario Kart cost me so much money because I had to buy all the controllers because all 4 of us wanted to play.
Yeah.
Controllers wasn't cheap, but
so they weren't at the time.
We were on that N64, and then Bruce, the guy I bought the house from, he said, "Hey, Brian, you gonna play this game?" And it was on this Sega Dreamcast. And I'll never forget the Sega Dreamcast as soon as, because that was my first experience with a disc technology.
Yeah.
Everything up until then was cartridge and it was instant.
Yeah.
And as soon as he put it in and I saw that now loading, I said, no, I'm not going to do this. Little did we know.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with the Dreamcast for 3 games. Gauntlet Legacy, it was Gauntlet Legends in the arcade version.
When they brought it to Xbox, it became Dark Legacy.
Red Warrior has gained a level. Shimu, which is an awesome, awesome game, and then Skies of
Arcadia.
Oh, Skies of Arcadia. You know why I love Skies of Arcadia? Because it's the damn Weatherlight Saga.
It really is.
You never picked up on that, did you?
Some of those ship battles were insane. You could.
It's a flying ship. You go around and
collect various very unique crew members from all over.
Yep.
And it's like Sky Pirates and for me one of the most memorable things is I remember seeing you fight. It was like some kind of Green Titan thing, and you shot a harpoon through its chest and knocked it over.
It takes forever to charge that damn harpoon.
Yeah, it does. Because they brought it out for GameCube, and then I remember because Dylan had a GameCube at the time, and you borrowed it to play that.
But the game past a certain point wouldn't play because I don't know if it was a scratch disk or corrupted file or something, but it wouldn't. You couldn't progress past a certain point because there was something defective.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got off on floppers, cluckers, and clickers. I've always been a card flopper. I've played D&D exactly once. I mean, and by once I mean one day. We all got together. We rolled up our characters and started playing. We played the rest of that day, and that was it. I had a ton of fun.
Yeah. I've been in.
No, I'm sorry. I played another role playing game once.
You did?
Macho Women with Guns.
Wait, what?
You were. Oh God, you were small. That was since we still lived in Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah. That game you could take, and this was something that I really like. I don't know if other games incorporate this. It's old technology now, I guess, but you could take certain drawbacks, like you had X amount of points to build your character.
Yeah.
But you could give yourself a drawback in order to gain more points. So I wanted to be the strongest, hardest hitting possible character. So what I did was I sacrificed intelligence.
Dumb as a bag of rocks.
And that gave me more points to spend on strength.
Hey, it works.
It didn't take a lot of intelligence to go swing this hammer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm swinging the hammer.
I played, especially whenever the shop opened. I played a bunch of different D&D games, and then even some Pathfinder and stuff. And honestly, that kind of like even not on a tabletop setting, that kind of like revolutionized like my love for RPGs, even in like video games, stuff like Mass Effect or Divinity or stuff like that, to where it's got sort of an inspiration from D&D. Has
favorite board game?
Ascension.
Damn it, that was going to be mine. I love Ascension.
You introduced it to me. Well, I mean, Dominion's really fun too.
Dominion was the I don't know if it was the first deck building game.
Yeah.
Odds are, what are the odds of me liking the deck building game, right? Do you know there's a Star Trek one?
Yeah.
I hear it's super fun. The big giant Enterprise playmat I've got is actually for that game.
Yeah, I remember we played for a little bit, but I only played for a little bit, and then we stopped for a while, and I forgot how to play.
No, that was the Star Trek collectible card game.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's like a Star Trek version of Dominion.
Oh, okay.
Play Dominion. Dominion was the very first one. Everybody went Dominion crazy. But the setup time for that it took so much.
Yeah, it did.
And you just in between games, and then Ascension came out, made by former Magic players, mind you. And it's a quick setup. It's I haven't got any expansions for that. There's a bunch of expansions for that, and I haven't gotten any. And you know the only reason why I haven't?
What?
Because I have
not really a card shop that holds them though.
Well, no, it's not that. It's that I have the Ascension deck. All those cards sleeved in the Ultra Pro Ascension sleeves.
Yeah.
And I don't have any more sleeves. It's dumb, I know. I could buy the sleeves at the same time I buy the expansion. But that first expansion is the one I really want, because that's the one I play on the phone. It's free, free download on your phone. And it's good when you're sitting in doctor's office or whatever. I say it's good. I don't do it anymore because now I've got Twitter eats up all my time.
Twitter and Egg Inc.
Oh man. So I guess yes, I'm still a clicker to some point.
Yeah.
I don't really play that much digital Magic at all. Little phone games. I don't know if you can count those as being a true clicker, because most people that classify themselves as not gamers have games on their phone.
Yeah. As like time passes.
Yeah.
And stuff.
I mean, gaming is so mainstream now that it's everybody is a gamer at some point. It's just what degree.
There's Call of Duty and NFL
Right.
on one end of the spectrum, and then there's like
Pretty Princess on the other end.
that, and then on one end there's I am playing Skyrim for the 1,000th time.
Yes.
But I'm going to be the same character.
Do you know, I just bought Skyrim. I have never played Skyrim. I bought Skyrim at my local LGS, mind you.
LGS?
A local game store.
Okay.
At the Collector's Connection in Dyersburg, I bought Skyrim for $2.50.
Jesus. It's worth it though, because I mean, like even without like the DLC, it's an incredibly good game. And I know whenever I was younger, you were like whenever I first walked in the house and it was like, holy crap, Dad's got an Xbox. There were two games that like shaped the future of my gaming because I'm when it comes to video games, I'm one of two ways. I'm either extreme sci-fi or extreme fantasy, and that stems from the two games Dad had on Xbox. He had Elder Scrolls 3, Morrowind, and then he had Halo. And
the world was Halo crazy.
Yeah,
Halo was
Halo
was on the cover of like legit magazines.
Oh,
I want to say Master Chief was like Man of the Year that year or something. I don't know. It sounds weird.
Whenever I was going to college, I would get out of class and then I would get out of class, do my work, and then go to the computer lab and watch the stream for Halo 4. Halo was a really big part of like shaping like interest for me. And while I don't really do a whole lot of first person shooters anymore, the sci-fi element was what really drew me in.
You and Dakota were I don't know the game because I didn't play it, but I know I talked to all my friends and I was like, hey, my sons play this game. You play with them? They're like, yeah. I said, are they any good? And they're like, no, you don't understand. They are the team. He said, if we jump in a lobby and we're playing against them, we'll exit because we don't want to play against them. What was that game?
The game was Destiny.
Okay.
It was because I'd always been a big fan of Bungie. Whenever they split off and they made Destiny, me and Coda got into it like 4 or 5 months after the game came out, and then just us being brothers, we know how in previous games we played, we know how the other works. We don't have to talk to each other to know how to play it together.
Where you're going to move or be, or
so both with like PvP or when doing raids or strikes or stuff like that, we were like in sync without saying a word. It was great. We were like the ultimate duo. Also,
the living room that I have here has I custom built the entertainment center because we are a gaming family, and like there's at one time there was 6 Xboxes in the house.
Yeah.
And so we have my entertainment center has 3 TVs side by side by side.
Yeah.
And it sounds weird, but we're a gaming household, so
it's like
a lot of times they're all in use.
It's like mounted on the wall so that nothing would fall. I remember whenever we first set it up, it took up like the whole wall. We had spots for like had spots above the TVs for the Xboxes because we don't want the cords.
Right.
And then spots for movies and stuff like that. And then we had the TV set up, and God, we were almost always playing it. Something.
Then what was the other game that it was more recent than that? Oh shoot!
Was it
the one I said looked like cartoon character Call of Duty? Overwatch.
Oh yeah, Overwatch. Me and Coda played a lot of Overwatch.
Yeah.
Back, in my opinion, I mean, this is just my opinion. Back when it was like more fun. After a certain point, I feel like things started to get a little complicated.
A lot of people say the same thing about Magic.
For me specifically, it was just because like for a while it seemed like the best way is to like try to fix things whenever a character was too overpowered. Wasn't to like readjust the character, but to nerf other characters. And
Magic, they just banned the damn card.
and
Bye, Oko.
And Uh, uh, I don't really know much about it now because I haven't played in forever. But
Right.
at the time, I was really mad because my favorite character was a healer. Because healing is what I do. I like keeping my team alive. But yeah, honestly, I almost forgot about that. We played so much of that.
Yeah.
But
Well, I guess what kind of time? Shoot, we were over an hour. Wow. So I think now's a good time to cut off because
yeah,
most of my videos ain't an hour long. I do appreciate y'all watching. If anybody is still watching,
yeah. If you've made it this far,
congrats.
Thank you.
So I appreciate y'all watching. I gotta look over here to get my mouse just right, and I guess that's it for now. So I guess I'm Brian,
I'm Jackson.
and we will see y'all later.